Race number 4 of the NNSCRA Stadium Super Truck Series takes place here tonight at the second Coliseum, if you will. We started out the season at Coliseum, which was a dirt-covered road course with, of course, that very exciting downhill jump. Tonight we are at a Coliseum of a different kind. It's a half-mile racetrack. It's a short track. It's dirt-covered. Most people know of it as Bristol. This is going to be Bristol Dirt here this evening, and it's going to be the race that sets us up towards determining who our champion will be when we head into the season finale next week. Getting ready here for our first heat race, 20 laps in each one of our heats. The LCQ will be 10 laps, and then the main event is going to be a total of 40 laps in length. Of course, same rules apply here in these heats that have applied for the entirety of the season. The top 6 transfer into the main event. The top 9 will get points. And after last week's race, no doubt about it, it definitely shuffled up the point standings. Monster Truck Rally has given us a new points leader, and that is Dallas McIntosh. McIntosh is, I believe, I think this is the first time that McIntosh has the points lead. I don't think even after winning the season opener, I don't think McIntosh had the points lead. I have to check back and look at that. McIntosh comes into this race with a 2-point lead over Karson Gum. Well, Karson Gum apparently is answering that challenge as he's going to line up on the outside of the front row here today alongside of Kyle Mathews. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this first heat. It'll be Mathews alongside of Karson Gum. Then you've got Chris Dollerton and Adam Garcia. Of course, Chris Dollerton coming off that victory last week at Monstered, so Dollerton climbing up through the point standings for sure as well. I think he's up in the top 10 in points after that victory, and that was his first appearance in the main event this season. Matthew Rodriguez will start alongside of Seth Cole. Preston Plourd, our winner from Island Rally a couple weeks ago, alongside of Ashlin Boyd. Quentin Moore, there's Dallas McIntosh, our winner from the season opener at Coliseum, starting mid-pack in this heat. Cole Baker alongside of Ryan Brommer. Then it's Dillon Young, James Qualls, Zach Rogers alongside Michael Norman. We're going to get the command in the middle of this, by the way. Alvaro Torres will line up alongside of Jonathan Zoerlein. Matt Haas alongside Levi McIntire. And bringing up the rear in this heat will be Jack Mitchell. So here we go then. Top 6 will transfer. There are no cautions and there's no damage. So if a car, or in this case a truck, spins out, I all season long I've been calling these cars and not trucks, they can try keep you going to see if they can get into the top 6 in the finishing results. Green flags in the air here for the first heat, and already we're going to go 3 wide. What a move by Adam Garcia. He's going to go from 3rd to the lead going into turn 3, or is he? Seth Cole on the bottom, 3 wide now. Look at this, almost 4 wide contact between Cole and Gum as Kyle Mathews now goes back to the point, or at least tries to. We'll try and keep track, see if anybody runs into some issues further on and back in the field as Ashlin Boyd almost got into Karson Gum. Matthew Rodriguez down on the inside, 4 wide here at Bristol as Seth Cole gets the wall. Whoa, Matt Rod sliding up in the corner, almost got into Ashlin Boyd and then almost up into Kyle Mathews, but he's going to be out in front now. And we're going to have to keep an eye back there around the 6th position because that is the final transfer spot as the pole sitter Mathews gets the wall. Looks like some drivers have run into trouble. Cole Baker way back here, Alvaro Torres as well. But again, all hope is not lost. If something happens up here, they might be able to sneak back into the top 6. Look at this, 5 wide. Are they 5 wide here at Bristol? They're leaning on each other. Seth Cole, last week's winner, Chris Dollerton in that mix, along with Ryan Brommer. Somehow they made it through without wrecking. Man, we're only 5 laps in and it's already been an exciting race as the battle for the lead is on and it's over. Quentin Moore going to be out in front. I think this is the first time we've really mentioned his name since Coliseum, if I can recall correctly. It's been a long time since he's been at the front. Now Dillon Young wants his turn out in front though. He's going to go side by side with Quentin Moore. Then you got Matthew Rodriguez side by side there with Ashlin Boyd. Chris Dollerton now up in the top 5 and 5th as Young will clear for the top spot. There's Baker, there's Torres. They're still back here just waiting for something to happen further up. But right now, these drivers have been able to prove that they can go 4 and 5 wide and still somehow keep their trucks going straight. Things getting a little spread out now. And I believe this is the battle for 6th place right here between Seth Cole and Dallas McIntosh. Right now, McIntosh and Karson Gum, 1-2 in points. They are currently outside of a transfer position. Up front, Chris Dollerton, though, got his first taste of the main event last week at Monster Rally. What happened? He went on to win the main event. Now he's looking for more points as he's trying to make it his second straight week of getting into the main event race. Matthew Rodriguez going to make it 3 wide with him, though. Oop, maybe a little bit of contact door-to-door there between the 12 and the 13. They keep it together, though. Quentin Moore enters back into the fray. This going on for the second position. Dillon Young right now out in front. Now, we mentioned the points coming into this race as far as first and second, but there are other drivers that also, if they can get into the main event here tonight, they could be players heading into the finale next week. Got third in points, Mitchell Collins. He's only 7 points back from the points lead. Derek Hamill's only 8 points back in fourth. Alvaro Torres, we saw, has had some early struggles here tonight, but he's in the hunt possibly if he could maybe make it to the main event, if not through here, but maybe through the LCQ. And the car we're looking at right now, Dillon Young, he is 6th in the points coming into this race. He's only 12 points out of the top position, so there's still a lot of drivers that could easily move their way up into the picture of the championship when we head into next week's finale. Michael Norman now making some charges. He just cracked the top 5, moving by both Matthew Rodriguez and Quentin Moore, and here comes Dallas McIntosh, the points leader, trying to make it basically a sealed deal going into the season finale to lock up the championship. They'll go 3 wide. That is for 4th position. Double wide for 3rd. Seth Cole going to have to give up the spot here to Michael Norman as Chris Dollerton slotting into 2nd, trying to run down Dillon Young. You look at Chris Dollerton, I mean, just a main event win, how does it propel you? Well, Chris Dollerton, as we mentioned, made only his first main event start last week, and he won. That moved him up to 11th in the point standings coming into this race. Now, albeit he is still about 22 points back from the top position, but if he could win back-to-back main events, I mean, that's a lot of points he'd be able to rack up, and he might be able to get up there and battle with Karson Gum and Dallas McIntosh. I mean, we saw how last week Karson Gum failing to make it in the main event, Dallas McIntosh capitalized, took the points lead over. That could happen again if neither McIntosh nor Gum make it into the main event. And right now, Karson Gum's a long way back, and McIntosh just slipped out of the top 6. Now stuck in a 3 wide situation there. With Zach Rogers and Quentin Moore, let's drop back, find Karson Gum. There he is, also on the top side. Right now, that 6th position is in the possession, I believe, of Ashlin Boyd. And now under fire from Quentin Moore and Zach Rogers, as it sounds like we might have traffic up ahead. Well, not really. About a straightaway still before you get to Cole Baker. There's Torres. Torres is caught back up to the field. So see, never give up. And oh, we got some drivers in trouble here. Oh, race is over. I'm stupid. I completely failed. I'm watching the battling. I'm so engrossed in it, I didn't even look at the lap counter. Dillon Young just won the first heat. Holy cow. That's going to go into a fail counter. My word. So Dillon Young just transferred into the main event with the win here in this heat. That's obviously going to be some very important bonus points for him as well. Chris Dollerton's going to transfer into his 2nd straight main event in a row. Michael Norman, I think this might be the first time Norman might be in the main event. No, actually, no, I think he was in the main event back at Island Rally. So I think it'll be his 2nd time. Seth Cole, this might be Seth Cole's first, as Seth Cole has not accumulated any points so far this season. Matthew Rodriguez and Ashlin Boyd will be the last drivers, at least in this heat, that are transferring into the main event. And then all these other drivers will have to wait until the LCQ to try and make it in. And the 2 that really jump out are Dallas McIntosh, who comes in the points leader, and Karson Gum, who comes in 2nd. They both are going to have to rely on that LCQ to finish in the top 3 to make it into the main event and try and keep themselves in the hunt for the points lead. So we'll have to see in the next heat what happens with Mitchell Collins and Derek Hamill, a couple of drivers that also really need to make it into the main event. Of course, Dillon Young, with winning this, coming in 6th in points, this is certainly going to help him get back into the title picture. Just going to have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully I won't fail in the next heat, and that's coming up right now. Note to self, watch the ticker on the top of the screen. But anyway, we get ready here for the second heat race. And of course, as we mentioned, a couple of drivers that we will really be focusing on in this one would include drivers like Mitchell Collins and Derek Hamill, because you got to think they want to take advantage, get an automatic ticket into the main event, not have to rely on the LCQ like drivers they're trying to run down the points like Dallas McIntosh and Karson Gum, who we just saw missed out on making it into the main event in their heat. It'll be Raphael Leduc who lines up on the pole for this one. His last main event start was back, it was a good finish too, back at Island Rally. And he will start alongside of Alexander Rowe, who I believe, don't think he's made a main event yet this season. He's got points, but I don't think he's been in the main event yet. Bobby Frazier will line up alongside of Austin LaPlante. There's Derek Hamill, he'll start 6th alongside of Jonny Gardner. Benny Watson, that's another driver we should probably watch out for. He's kind of hanging around there. I believe he is 8th in points. He's only 17 points back. He'll line up alongside of Jesse Turner. Turner had a great run last week at Monster Rally. Kyle Thomas alongside of Matt McIntire. James Shelly lines up with Cody Smart. Carter Friesen, another driver that might be a sleeper. He's also only 17 points back in the standings. He'll line up alongside of Zach Winkle. Andrew Rich alongside Zachary Fitwater. Then it's Jordan Lopes. There's Mitchell Collins starting quite a ways back. 3rd in points, only 7 points out of the top spot. Wyatt Quail alongside of Wyatt Brommer, and Cole Deaver will bring up the rear of the field for this heat. So again, note to self, keep an eye on the ticker, because those 20 laps apparently fly by, and they even took me by surprise in that last heat. But boy, I hope the action's going to be as crazy here in this heat as it was in the last one. We were 5 wide and somehow made it work here at Bristol Dirt. Green flag in the air, heat number 2 underway, and boy, Raphael Leduc was ready. Either he was ready or Rowe was sleeping, and it might have been a combination of both. Again, top 6 transfer, top 9 get points in this heat. And Leduc will lead the first lap. You don't get points for leading laps here in the heat races. You only get them in the main event as Alexander Rowe gets put in the wall by Derek Hamill. That probably should have been a wreck, and it wasn't. Look at this. 4 wide, and they're keeping it together. They settle it out to 3 wide. Whoa, look at there up the middle. That was, I believe, can't find who it is. Bobby Frazier, that's who it was. Look at that 4 wide. Alexander Rowe charging back to the front. He just put Derek Hamill and Carter Friesen in a 4 wide situation. What a move there by Alexander Rowe, who's starting the outside of the front row. Oh, Bobby Frazier up the track. Almost a little contact there with James Shelly. That was close. And the most amazing thing is this is taking place inside of a transfer position. This is a battle right now for 4th. Leduc's gotten out ahead. LaPlante in 2nd, Gardner in 3rd. They're 4 wide back here. This is for around the 6th, 7th position. Carter Friesen trying to get around the outside of Jordan Lopes. Oh, we got trouble in the back. Someone's around. That is Wade Brommer spinning. Got a car in the wall. That's Bobby Frazier. Still green. So Wade Brommer looks like he will probably have to rely on the LCQ as Leduc continues to lead over LaPlante and Gardner. Rowe is in 4th. Matt McIntire is in 5th, right now under fire from Jesse Turner, who's in the final transfer spot currently in 6th. Behind them, you've got Jordan Lopes, James Shelly. Down there on the bottom, Cole Deaver, who started dead last, working his way up towards a transfer spot possibly. Now he's got a car to his inside. That is Andrew Rich. Got a little bit loose there in that corner on the bottom. A couple of drivers got held up by the spinning Wade Brommer and are now kind of a ways back trying to catch up. Zach Winkle and Kyle Thomas. See if they've got any chance of maybe getting into the top 6, but we didn't really see anybody wreck that much in the first heat. There was really only 1 incident. And we've had 1 incident so far here in the second heat as this is a battle for 5th. Matt McIntire right now in that yellow truck in the final transfer spot of 6th, trying to hold off Cole Deaver and Andrew Rich, who are side by side for 7th. May have a change for 2nd. Jonny Gardner getting to the inside of Austin LaPlante. Gardner has won a race this season. It wasn't a main event race, but he won the LCQ back at Coliseum. Now trying to run down Leduc. LaPlante, I believe, might be looking to make his first main event of the season. I don't think he's gotten points yet this year, and as I look at the standings, that is correct. For this 3 wide, that's Cody Smart, Cole Deaver, and Andrew Rich. That's for around the 7th position. Oh, Alexander Rose slipped up the track there, and that might put him in trouble. He could fall back into the 6th spot and maybe lose that. Both Matt McIntyre and Jesse Turner made their way around him. Now Turner's under fire, caught in the outside line. And I am keeping track of the laps. We do have 7 to go, 6 to go as the leader, Raphael Leduc, hits the line. And boy, this battle for 6th is really heating up. Here comes Smart on the bottom. Turner's up top. Alexander Rowe, Rich, Deaver. They're all in the mix for this one. Also got Benny Watson and Carter Friesen back there that might be able to get up into this battle. 3 wide. That's Rich on the bottom, Rowe in the middle, Matt McIntyre way up top. And I'm not really even sure who's got 6th place right now. It might be Rich. No, it's actually Alexander Rowe right now who's got the position. Now Turner and Deaver side by side for what would be 7th. Deaver trying to get up there and wrestle away 6th place. The final transfer spot from Alexander Rowe. He might have a run on him here into 3. He's going to get to the inside. It's Cole Deaver, who started dead last in this field. 3 laps to go here in this heat. Deaver clears for 6th. Now the battle is on for 7th. Ooh, almost some contact there between Turner and McIntyre. As up front, we got some good battling going on here. Cody Smart is charging. He got by Gardner. He's gotten by Rich. He now passes LaPlante. He's up to 2nd, trying to run down Leduc. Oh, Deaver's under fire. 3 wide. Turner, McIntyre, Deaver. Here comes Carter Friesen as well, as the white flag, I believe, was just displayed for Raphael Leduc. Cody Smart now under fire from Andrew Rich. They're in transfer positions right now, as well as Austin LaPlante there in 4th. Right now it's a battle 5th and 6th. That is Gardner and McIntyre, who now cross the line, and they will get the final 2 transfer spots. Leduc wins the heat. So it was a battle side by side for 5th, and what Gardner and McIntyre really did was they blocked the track so that way Turner and Deaver and Friesen, who were all behind them, could not make a move on them for those final transfer positions into the main event. And there are 2 names I did not mention pretty much through the whole entirety of this heat, and those 2 names were Mitchell Collins and Derek Hamill, who came in 3rd and 4th in points. So our top 4 in the standings, actually our entire top 5 in points coming to this race, did not lock themselves into the main event via these heats. Hamill finished in 12th, and Collins was all the way back in 17th. So it could be a huge point shakeup here tonight if none of those 4 drivers, being McIntosh, Gum, Collins, or Hamill, we could even throw Alvaro Torres into the mix. If they don't make it into the main event, we could have someone really jump up to the top of the point standings that we haven't seen so far this season. But Leduc looks like he'll take part in his 2nd main event. Cody Smart, has Smart made a main event this season? I don't think he has. This might be a debut for him in the main event. Andrew Rich, I believe he's been in 1 main event so far this season. LaPlante, I'm certain this is his debut. Gardner we had in the main event back at Coliseum. And Matt McIntyre, I think, made the main event last week. I think. No, actually, I don't see him on the point stands either. So I think this might be his debut. So we've got our 12 drivers that transfer via the heats. Now it's time to find out who's going to get in via the LCQ. You think these 2 heats were crazy? Wait until you see what we've got up next. So 12 drivers have transferred into the main event. 3 spots still remain. 30 drivers will want them. I decided this actually is going to be 20 laps. I said it was going to only be a 10-lap shootout for the LCQ, but it seems like with it being a 30-truck field, 10 laps isn't really enough time for drivers at the back to be able to make their way to the front. 20 laps, obviously it was proved that that is possible with Cole Deaver making his way to the front in that 2nd heat. So 30 drivers vying for 3 final spots in the main event. And here's the interesting thing. I look back at the point standings. Only 2 of the top 10 in points at this point in time have made it into the main event. Dillon Young, who is 6th in the standings, and Jonny Gardner, who is 10th. So big opportunity for them. Chris Dollerton, who won last week, is 11th in points, so he could also jump up in the standings if we do not see drivers like McIntosh, Gum, Collins, Hamill, Torres, Brommer, Watson, and Friesen make it into the main event via this LCQ, and they are all in this field. Jonathan Zoerlein, who put on a clinic in Heat 1 last week at Monster Truck Rally, making his debut in the main event, lines up on the pole for this one. And he will start alongside of Benny Watson. Then it'll be Levi McIntire, Wyatt Quail, Preston Plourd, Alexander Rowe, Alvaro Torres, Kyle Mathews,
Drivers,
Turner, Qualls, Gum, Friesen, Collins, Fitzwater, Deaver, Haas, Brommer, Thomas, Shelly, Moore, Winkle, Garcia, Frazier, Lopes, Mitchell, Brommer, Baker, Rogers, and then Dallas McIntosh and Derek Hamill starting at the very back. Not exactly where they want to be starting this race. Two drivers that come into this race inside of the top 5 in the points. Green flags in the air, 20 laps, top 3 transfer into the main event. Who will they be? And already we've got a challenge for the lead. Well, I thought it was going to be Wyatt Quail taking the lead. Well, he will lead the lap, but Preston Plourd, our winner from Island Rally, he wants to make it back into the main event. Slots into second. Now the battle is on for third. Levi McIntire making the pass on Jack Mitchell. Right now holds that transfer spot, but don't look now. Here comes Alexander Rowe, who looked really racy in the second heat. And now it's 3 wide again. Ooh, a little contact between himself and Benny Watson. They keep it together, though, at least up here towards the front of the field. Wyatt Quail now about to be under fire for the lead from Preston Plourd. Remember, not only do the top 3 here in this LCQ make it into the main event, but only the top 3 in the LCQ get points. So you could see drivers like McIntosh, like Gum, Hamill, Collins, Torres not even get any points here for the LCQ, which will certainly hurt them in the point standings. They're going to go 4 wide back here, almost. Watson, Alexander Rowe were nearly put 4 wide as James Qualls charging up the inside line. Ooh, Rowe might have brushed the wall, but he got a good run there. Oh, Wyatt Quail's up the track. He did get the wall as they are, oh, are they 4 wide? I think they are. Wow, contact there between Levi McIntire and Benny Watson as McIntyre's truck stepped out from underneath him. Qualls now moves into second as Preston Plourd with clean racetrack out in front. Let's look at the back, see if anybody's run into issues. Nope, but Dallas McIntosh is all the way in the rear of the field, as is Derek Hamill. Neither one have made forward progress yet, and that is not good for them. What about Torres and Gum? Oh, we got a truck around. That's Ryan Brommer, and he just got hit by Derek Hamill. That's going to really hurt the 28. We got a couple other cars in trouble, Carter Friesen and Alexander Rowe. And Alvaro Torres might have gotten a piece of that because now he's all the way back here. We have another wreck. Oh, I thought we might have another wreck. So it looked like McIntosh was diving really low in that corner. He was just making the pass there on Zach Rogers. So that moves McIntosh up to 24th, but that's still not going to cut it. Where is Karson Gum? There he is. He's up in 14th, but he's still got a long ways to go if he's going to get up into a transfer spot. Meanwhile, this is just outside of the top 5. Benny Watson, Wyatt Quail, who we saw up the track and in the wall. James Qualls there as well as Kyle Mathews now up inside the top 5. Zoerlein and McIntire side by side. That's for second. That's still going on behind the race leader, Preston Plourd. Right now it is Zoerlein, who unofficially would be in the final transfer spot. And now he might be under fire from both Kyle Mathews and James Qualls by the time we get down here into turn 3. Qualls now trying to clear them both, trying to get to third. Mathews battled back in the middle. Zoerlein on the top side. Here comes Wyatt Quail on the bottom. He's trying to take third place as well. And it looks like he'll get the spot as, wow, way up the track goes Kyle Mathews. Look at the run he got on the top side, though. Still side by side with Qualls, but that's for fourth. Fourth ain't going to do nothing as far as getting points and getting into the main event. Gotta somehow get by Wyatt Quail, and now Qualls goes to work on Wyatt Quail for that position. James Qualls has made it into a main event via LCQ before. Did it at the very first race of the season at Coliseum. We're at another Coliseum here tonight, and he'd go 2 for 2. Oh, contact between himself and Kyle Mathews. Mathews moving Qualls out of the way, and here comes Benny Watson. They're all chasing that yellow car of Wyatt Quail, who right now is in third. Oh, we got trouble in the back. No, we don't. Zoerlein saved it after contact with Jesse Turner. Great save by Zoerlein. And he didn't really lose any positions either, or track position. Time is winding down, too. This battle for fourth is great. but it's not going to get you in the main event. This might help them, though. Quail's going to go side by side with Levi McIntire. That might allow these other guys to catch up to him, but it's 3 laps to go. Preston Plourd out in front. Looks like he might have this LCQ on lock. The question is Levi McIntire going to be able to hold on to that 3rd position? Kyle Mathews trying to charge up there and get it. He's only going to have 2 more laps to do it. Now he's shaken free of Benny Watson. Now he can focus on McIntire. The question is, does he have the truck to get there? White flag displayed for Preston Plourd. Top 3, Plourd, Quail, and McIntire. We're going to focus back again on the 19. See if the 5 of Mathews is anywhere close. Doesn't look like he's even close enough to make a charge. I think McIntire is going to be home free. I think he's going to make his first main event of the season, as Preston Plourd will see the checkered flag. He'll win the LCQ. Wyatt Quail will finish 2nd. And the final transfer driver is Levi McIntire, who indeed is going to be making his first main event start of the season. As a matter of fact, I believe right there he just scored his first points of the season so far. Wyatt Quail, I believe, was in the main event. I want to say it was back at Coliseum, but I'm not 100% sure. And of course, Preston Plourd made the main event back at Island Rally because he went on to win that race. And boy, this is going to be a huge shakeup here tonight in the main event, no doubt, because Gum, McIntosh, Collins, Hamill, Torres, Brommer, Watson, Friesen, none of them made it into the main event. The 3 drivers that are really going to benefit here tonight points-wise, that could see one of them be the points leader when we leave Bristol Dirt here tonight, Dillon Young, Jonny Gardner, and Chris Dollerton. We could probably add Preston Plourd to that mix as well. He's 12th in points coming into this race. So those 4 might be the ones to look at that could maybe be your favorites for the championship heading into next week's season finale. There you see the drivers down there at the bottom that did not finish inside of the top 3. Derek Hamill all the way back there. Ryan Brommer, Friesen, drivers that came into this race inside the top 10 in points. So it will be Plourd, Quail, and McIntire who will get the final 3 spots in the main event. Stay tuned. That main event is coming up right now. Well, after 2 exciting heats and an unbelievable LCQ, it's time now to find out who is going to be picking up the win in our 4th and next to last race of the season here. And of course, we've already been documenting it as these races have been going on. It's definitely going to be a bit of a point shakeup, you got to think, after tonight's event, because so far in this race, I believe only 2 of the drivers that came into this race in the top 10 in the point standings even made it into this main event. That would be Dillon Young, who came in 6th in points, and Jonny Gardner, who came in 10th in points. You've also got a couple of other drivers on the outside of the top 10 in points that can move in. Last week's winner, Preston Plourd, and the winner from a week before that at Island Rally, actually, I think I just said the wrong person. Last week's winner, Chris Dollerton, actually, and Preston Plourd, who won the week before that at Island Rally. And Dollerton, making the most of it, lines up on the pole here for our main event. So we'll see what he is going to be able to do. If he can, I don't know if he can necessarily get enough points to get up to the points lead. He came into this race 22 points behind Dallas McIntosh, who failed to make the race. He also came in 12 points, I believe it is. No, 10 points behind Dillon Young. So it is possible. It is mathematically possible that Chris Dollerton could take the points lead over after winning last week and maybe getting a good finish here tonight, especially if he gets a 2nd win in a row. We're just going to have to wait and see. He'll line up alongside of Andrew Rich on the front row, Cody Smart and Wyatt Quail in the 2nd row, then it's Raphael Leduc and Levi McIntire. McIntire making his first main event start, as is Seth Cole, who lines up alongside of LaPlante, another driver debuting in the main event. Then it's Matt McIntire alongside of Jonny Gardner, Ashlin Boyd, Matthew Rodriguez. He could be another driver to watch out for. We'll document that in just a moment. Michael Norman alongside of Dillon Young, who starts near the rear of the field. Does not start dead last, though. That's where Preston Plourd starts. So Chris Dollerton with a little bit of an advantage starting position-wise over Dillon Young and Preston Plourd.
Drivers, start your engines!
And for the first time, I didn't talk over the command to fire them up. 40 laps of racing here in our main event. And same rules apply, no damage, no cautions. And this is the one race where you're not trying to race to get into the top 6, you're not trying to race to get into the top 3, you just want to win. So Chris Dollerton, Andrew Rich lead us down as the green flag's in the air here for the main event. bonus points to the driver who leads the most laps. Chris Dollerton would like to be able to do that. Oh, we got trouble in the back! I think it was Dillon Young just turned Matthew Rodriguez, but there's no caution, remember, as at the line, Chris Dollerton rather, led that lap over Wyatt Quail, just barely. Gonna go 3 wide, that's Levi McIntire, the pink truck down on the bottom. And now underneath him comes Austin LaPlante in the 24. We're 4 wide for the lead. McIntire by a nose leads that lap. I want to drop back and see if indeed it was Dillon Young and Matthew Rodriguez, the two that I suspect were involved in that incident off of turn 2. As now things settle out a little bit here for the lead, although they are starting to heat up back there. Jonny Gardner, Austin LaPlante, all in the mix there for second place. And now LaPlante's going to get a nice run. He's going to try and get to the inside of McIntire. Can't do it. McIntire holds on to the lead. Yeah, there's Matt Rod. I was going to talk about Matthew Rodriguez. I'll talk about him in just a minute there. Michael Norman's back here, along with Preston Plourd and Dillon Young. Right now, Chris Dollerton is the guy in the best position right now to be able to gain the most points to try and get up there and be the new points leaders. We're 3 wide for the top position. That is Matt McIntire on the inside, Jonny Gardner in the middle, and Levi McIntire up top. Gardner and a McIntire sandwich as Matt will take the lead out of turn number 2. I was going to mention about Matthew Rodriguez. He came into this race, I believe it was 14th in points, and he was only 27 points out of the top position, so there was an opportunity for him to maybe move up into the top 5 in the standings, but right now running dead last, 15th place, which would put him in line for 6 points via the main event. Ooh, a little contact right there between Chris Dollerton and Jonny Gardner as LaPlante will clear for the lead. Oh, we got a wreck in the back! That, I believe, was Raphael Leduc getting turned around after contact with Levi McIntire. I think that was Leduc anyway. His car and Ashlin Boyd's truck, their shades of magenta pink are very similar, so I'm not 100% certain which one that was. There is one that's continued on, and that is Ashlin Boyd, so it was Raphael Leduc that we saw get turned around there in the back portion of the camera. Up front, Chris Dollerton going to go back out in front. Probably got told that Preston Plourd's there towards the back. Dillon Young got involved in an incident, and so trying to make the most of it here. He'll lead yet another lap. I don't know if he's going to lead the most, though. Matt McIntire now back to the inside. Jonny Gardner also the play. It's a 4-dog fight right now for the top spot. Wyatt Quail not too far back there, though, in that 5th position. If these guys continue to race, he can get up there, maybe make something of it as well. As Matthew Rodriguez about to get out of dead last, trying to get by Raphael Leduc. Both drivers have suffered being turned around here in the first 10 laps of this race. There's Dillon Young right now solidly in the 13th position. Nobody really ahead of him, nobody really behind him. He needs something to happen if he's to gain more points. Right now he'd only be in line to gain 8 points here in the main event. Now Michael Norman there along with Levi McIntire. One driver that did benefit from the wrecking that went on was Preston Plourd. He's now worked his way. He was back around, the 13th position, and he's now up in 6th. Trying to run down the top 5. So Preston Plourd looking really good right now as he's trying to make it a battle with Chris Dollerton, for who might be leaving Bristol Dirt here this evening as the points leader. Drag race there between Gardner and LaPlante at the line, and I thought they were going to give it to LaPlante. They did indeed. Took a little while for the ticker to update. Wyatt Quail did manage to catch up here to the top 4. So there's 5 trucks up here in this lead pack. Matt McIntire now to the inside of Austin LaPlante. LaPlante, McIntire, Dollerton, Gardner, they've all taken turns of leading laps, so it really will come down to the final export to see who leads the most. Again, 3 bonus points on the line for a driver that leads the most laps here in the main events of these races. And now Jonny Gardner to the inside, and as these drivers continue to battle here, they were 3 wide for 6th, and they still are. That's Preston Plourd, Andrew Rich, and I believe that's Cody Smart up on the top side. Yes, it is. As Ashlin Boyd made it 4 wide, trying to pass a couple of drivers. Passed both Rich and Smart, but now Rich crosses over, 3 wide again. Boyd now put in the middle. Seth Cole waiting in the wing to see what happens. Wow, that was a gutsy cutoff by Preston Plourd right across the nose of Ashlin Boyd. He nearly got hooked. And now he's going to be kicked way up to the high side. He's going to drop back to probably around the 9th position, maybe 10th if Seth Cole can make the pass him. There's still 3 wide here for the 6th position. Almost some contact there, some rubbing of doors. Oh, Seth Cole got loose in the corner and slides up into Preston Plourd. Preston continues on. Seth Cole gets his truck righted and continues on as well, but Looked like the 16 just snapped loose on the bottom there. That happens sometimes here at Bristol, but we haven't really seen that at all here during the course of this evening. That's the first time I've seen a truck snap loose when being underneath another truck. So probably with the cooler conditions as the evening has worn on, the grip level may be going away, things a little bit slicker. Matt McIntire right now firmly in control of the lead. And this is not good news for Chris Dollerton, seeing the 26 out in front for as long as he's been, because this is definitely putting Matt McIntire in line for being the one that's going to get the bonus point, 3 bonus points that is, for leading the most laps in this race. But right now, Dollerton might be focusing more on the 25 points you can gain by winning the main event. Obviously, he was the beneficiary of that last week at Monster Truck Rally, winning that event. He'd love to win back-to-back races, and right now he's the only one of the former winners that made it into the main event that is up here with a chance of getting his second win of the season. Preston Plourd, we saw in that incident just moments ago with Seth Cole, and Dillon Young has not yet managed to make his way up inside of the top 10. Sounds like we might be catching up to somebody here. That's Raphael Leduc in the 40. He is just at the line now. Leaders are at the line now, so I don't know if necessarily they're turning faster lap times than Leduc, and if they are going to catch him. And Leduc is up to speed, though. Bear in mind, there's no damage. He's basically back here because he was involved in an incident where he got turned by Levi McIntire. And so, if they do catch him, which draft might play a factor into being able to reel him in, I don't know for 100% certain. It definitely is going to be a movie chicane for these drivers because he will not be off the pace and an easy truck to pass. Take a look at lap times. Chris Dollerton just ran a 15.060 and Leduc ran a 15.221 as he's trying to reel in Matthew Rodriguez there in the 13 for what would be 14th place. Doesn't seem like much when you consider 14th to 15th. However, it is a point difference as far as what you get points-wise for the evening. Of course, Matthew Rodriguez trying to make his way up into the top 10 in points. Matt McIntire still out in front. Matt McIntire, I believe this is his debut in the main event. Yeah, it is indeed. Matt McIntire was close to making it into the main event last week. It was really close. I think it was in the LCQ or was it his heat race? I think it was his heat race where he was run up inside of the top 6 and ended up getting wrecked and fell out of the top 6, did not transfer. So this is his debut into the main event, much like Chris Dollerton had last week. And what happened? Dollerton went on to win. So Matt McIntire hoping that he's able to do the same. I think if I remember correctly, back at Island Rally, it was Preston Plourd's first main event appearance, and he went on to win. And of course, it was everybody's first main event appearance in the first race at Coliseum. So if Matt McIntire wins, we would be 4 for 4 in a driver making the main event for the first time this season, going to victory lane. But Chris Dollerton right there, Jonny Gardner as well, Wyatt Quail, LaPlante, and Cody Smart has now reeled in these top 5. Ashlin Boyd trying to do the same, so it's not over yet. Though the ticker is ticking away. We've got 7 laps to go, and they are closing in, visibly, on Raphael Leduc's number 40. Blank went wide in that corner, brushed the wall. He may lose touch with the top 5 here, as now Chris Dollerton back to the bottom. He's trying to take the top position back. I don't think he's going to get the 3 bonus points for leading the most laps. I think that's going to go to Matt McIntire. But Chris Dollerton focusing on the most points he can get via winning. Now McIntire crossover, back to the inside. Can he get the left rear coming off of turn 4? Not quite. Dollerton still has him cleared. Now Jonny Gardner getting up in the mix. He's going to try and make it a fight for the race lead. Maybe a battle for second. Nope, it'll be a battle still for the race lead between McIntire and Dollerton. Who wants it more? I mean, Chris Dollerton, he's trying to focus on the big picture, get as many points as he can to take the points lead over. At the same time, he doesn't want to wreck himself battling for this win. Matt McIntire and Jonny Gardner, they haven't won yet this season. You can bet they're going to be a lot more aggressive. Gardner, a little contact there with Matt McIntire as he moves him up the track, and Gardner's going to go to the lead. Jonny Gardner, no stranger to winning a race this season. He won the LCQ race back at the first race of the season at Coliseum, allowing him to get into the main event. Oh, look at this. It's going to be a little battle here between himself and Chris Dollerton. And don't count out Cody Smart, waiting in the wings, and now he's up in the top 3 as there's 2 laps to go. Now Dollerton clears out for the top spot again. They're 3 wide for second. McIntire, Smart, Gardner. They got Leduc up ahead. Will he play a factor as the white flag is displayed? 1 more lap to go. Can Dollerton hold him off and pick up his second win in a row? McIntire side by side with Cody Smart. That might do it. Can McIntire get to the inside of Dollerton? He's trying. He's going to get him off the corner. Can he get him at the line? No, he cannot. Chris Dollerton is going to win back-to-back main event races here in the NNSCRA Stadium Super Truck Series. He won last week at Monster Truck Rally. He wins this week at Bristol Dirt, and that might just have put him in the points lead heading into next week's season finale. Right place, right time, right move, and circumstances in the final lap and a half working out to his benefit. I honestly never thought with only a 5-race schedule we would have a 2-time winner, let alone a back-to-back winner, but Chris Dollerton getting his mojo at just the right time. He is a back-to-back winner here. And boy, this is definitely going to make it very interesting heading into our season finale. Matt McIntire almost made it 4 for 4 in a driver making it in the main event in for the first time this season going to victory lane. He'll have to settle for second. 83 1/1000ths at the line as he almost was able to get alongside Chris Dollerton off the corner with a little aid from Raphael Leduc, who does manage to finish on the lead lap. Cody Smart brings it home there in third. Wyatt Quail in fourth. Jonny Gardner in fifth. Those 5 were the ones that really battled it out there at the end. LaPlante kind of faded out of that top 5 as he got the wall and lost the group. He'll have to settle for 6th, though. Still a good run for him. Andrew Rich will bring it home in 7th. Ashlin Boyd in 8th. Levi McIntire and Michael Norman complete the top 10. Then all these other drivers either got caught up in incidents or were involved in incidents or got held up by incidents. As you got Dillon Young back there in 11th. I don't think he's going to be able to get the points lead. I think it will be Chris Dollerton because Dollerton came into this race only 12 points behind Dillon Young. And let me see, as far as just looking at the main event points, first place gets 25 points and 11th gets 10. That's a 15-point difference. So I think Dollerton has definitely at least passed Dillon Young in points. Whether he's taking the points lead over, I do not know. Preston Plourd's going to have to settle for 12th. Certainly he was looking for something a lot better here tonight as he was trying to get the points lead as well. Seth Cole in his debut in the main event saw him have an issue with grip. He's going to finish in 13th. Matthew Rodriguez brings it home in 14th. He probably will still get up into the top 10 in points, but not nearly at an interval that he would have liked. And Raphael Leduc, who made the main event for the second time in his career here this season, he will finish in last in the 15th position. Still gets 6 points, though, main event-wise, and obviously gets the points from finishing where he did in the second heat. But that is going to do it here tonight from Bristol Dirt. Did Chris Dollerton take over the points lead, and by how much? We'll have to find out, and we'll definitely have to see who is mathematically eligible to battle for the championship in next week's season finale. Point standings are down below in the description. Do not look at them until after the race is over to avoid spoilers. And until then, we will see you guys next week for the season finale here in the NNSCRA Super Stadium Truck Series, as you've been watching production of NNSCRA offline racing at its best.